I'm Jesse McAnally.
And I'm Andrew DeWolf.
And I'm Brianna Jones.
And welcome to Musicals with Cheese, a podcast where I try to get Andrew and Brie to like musical theater. How are we doing today, you fine folks?
We're all doing wonderful because we have a very special guest today. Since we're covering the show How to Succeed, we have brought in the very successful new president,
Joe Biden.
Brilliant. Yeah, we don't know who won yet still when we're recording this.
But I will edit it and make it happen so we have the right name.
But you have to make it so shittily edited in. You have to, overlap the words and everything.
I will. I'll put a little, delay on it and make it sound like it came from, a speaker.
Yeah. Andrew, I get why you're saying that, because this musical is really about a man that started from the bottom and then slowly rises to the top, destroys an entire business, and then decides to become president. So it really is the story.
He starts out as a lowly man with a small loan of $1 million, and he works his way up to become the destroyer of many companies, and then the president.
And also breaks the heart of many women. How to Succeed Without Really Trying.
1995 Tony Award winner Matthew Broderick in Broadway's most hilarious hit, How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying. Fox 5 TV and the New York Times both say it's a triumph. And Pat Collins calls it the best time on Broadway. You call Ticketmaster today.
How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying is a musical by Frank Lesser and a book by Abe Burrows, Jack Weinstock, and Willie Gilbert, based on Shepard Mead's 1952 book of the same name. The story concerns young, ambitious J. Pierpont Finch. Is that Pierre? Is that how you pronounce it? Pierpont?
F-I-N-C-H, Finch.
I get that Pierpont is the one I'm having trouble with, my friend.
Who cares?
But he, with the help of the book, How to Succeed Without Really Trying, rises from window washer to chairman of the board of the Worldwide Wicket Company. And what the fuck is a wicket? The show has never addressed what a wicket is.
It's, I think it's a real thing.
I believe you, but I don't know what it is.
Wicket. Is this like a 50s thing?
I'm sure it is. But the musical...
A wicket is a small gate.
No, it's a character from Star Wars.
That's true.
The musical, starring Robert Morse and Rudy Valley, opened on 46th Street Theater on Broadway in October of 1961, running for 1,417 performances. That's an insane amount for those days. That is a stupid number. The show won 7 Tony Awards, the New York Drama Critics Circle Award, and here's the big one. Here's the one that, is incomparable, and, one of these things is not like the other. The Pulitzer Prize for Drama in 1962.
What?
Yes.
It's not even a drama. I guess, it doesn't have to be a drama to win that, but I feel like comedies don't really cut it, usually.
Andrew, we have covered a couple of other Pulitzer Prize winning musicals, and there aren't many of them. There is, as of today, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There are only 10 musicals in the history of musical theater that have ever won the Pulitzer Prize, and this is one of them.
Les Mis, SpongeBob SquarePants.
Nope. Andrew, if you can name me 2.
2?
Just 2. We have covered more than 2. No.
Carousel.
Nope.
Do I have to go way later, or is
no? You can do modern. You can do.
Oof. I don't think I can name any of them because I feel like they're just picking random ones.
No, they're the big ones. They're the big obvious ones.
Really, but not like
yes.
Not like Les Mis.
Not like Les Mis. Think more populous.
Okay, like Phantom.
More modern populous. So modern, so populous it gets put on Disney Plus.
Oh my God, Hamilton actually won a Pulitzer?
It won the Pulitzer.
Why?
And then to try to narrow down, try to get you a second one. Think of one that deals with a very specific disease, and you know what? It should get it because it handles that disease and talks about it, right?
Yeah. Falsettos.
The other one.
Oh, is it Lease?
Yes, it is Lease.
Lease.
Excellent. And then there's 2 other ones that we've covered. Next to Normal.
That one I could see, actually.
And Sunday in the Park with George.
That one is one I would actually expect to get it.
Yeah, well, it didn't win the Tony, like nothing like that. So that one I'm actually shocked won it.
Well, it's not a real musical as much as it is a dramatic piece about life.
It is art. It is all about arts. And most recently, and this is probably my favorite of all the ones that have won the Pulitzer, last year, Detroit native Michael R. Jackson wrote A Strange Loop, and that won the Pulitzer before even hitting Broadway. It was an off-Broadway show, and it won the Pulitzer, and I think that's wonderful.
That's impressive.
So, yeah, it won the Pulitzer, one of the 10 musicals to win the Pulitzer. It is the standout weird one, especially for how dated it is. Let's keep going about the history. In 1967, a film based on the musical was released by United Artists, with Morse and Valli recreating their stage roles. A 1995 revival was mounted at the same theater as the original production, now named the Richard Rodgers Theater. It ran for 548 performances and starred Matthew Broderick and Megan Mullally. A 50th anniversary production, directed and choreographed by Rob Ashford and starring Daniel Radcliffe and John LaRoquette, opened on March 27, 2011. At the Al Hirschfeld Theater and ran for 473 performances. So none of the revivals or returns of this show have ever really seen the success of that original version.
Well, is it just because they're not as good, or is it because it doesn't resonate as well with
I think
modern
this is
audience?
just a time capsule. Oh God. I think this is just a time capsule.
I feel like it almost plays as a period piece, or as like a. I was almost seeing with the like Gilded Age stage props and things that we were looking at. It's almost like an Ayn Rand novel, you know, like. It's
I mean, the message is pretty Randian.
Is it though? I feel like it's actually not.
Maybe because
I feel like
it
it's
is
actually
about
kind
a
of the
meritocracy
opposite.
and kind of getting around it.
Yeah, it's about the fact that the best don't always rise to the top, and sometimes it's just whoever sucks the most ass. So it's almost the opposite of a Randian novel. Because in a Randian novel, the best is the person who rises to the top is always the one who's actually the best. Whereas in this, it's like, this guy doesn't even know what the hell he's doing. He's just kind of going.
But it shows that in business, you really don't need to know what the hell you're doing.
Yeah, so in my opinion, it's almost a parody of like a Randian property.
I see that. But this was written contemporaneously with the time it was taking place. So it wasn't like written about, and you can't really take it out of that time. Like if you put this on now, it's got to be set in 1962.
Yeah, well, I can almost see it being set earlier than that too. Like if you went back and you set it in like the 1930s.
Yeah, that could work.
Or 20s probably is more accurate than the 30s. But yeah, if you bring it forward, it doesn't work quite as well, I don't think.
I mean, fair, but let's stop talking about the show. And Andrew, tell us what happens in the show. What is the plot of How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying?
I mean, it's pretty much the title. Like the guy has a book called How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying.
Which was a real life book. It would be like the equivalent of us having a musical called What to Expect When You're Expecting, and the characters are just reading that book throughout it.
Yeah. Although I don't know if the book is as specific as the one in the show.
No,
here.
I doubt it.
But it's basically like he rises to the top using the tactics in this book. So it opens with him as a window washer, and he's reading the book, and it's like, well, if you want to rise to the top, you have to get a job in a mailroom or something like that. And so he literally goes and he gets a job in a mailroom by just pretending that he already knows like the big boss of the company and just weaseling his way in essentially.
So he's a slippery shit and lies and like deceives people into the success that he gets.
Yeah. And what I find a little bit ironic about the show is in the mailroom, he meets what is essentially the bad guy of the show, which is the guy who's using nepotism to get to the top. You know, his uncle owns the company. Yeah, he's just calling his mom, and she's trying to weasel his way up to the top. But it's just like the other guy, the main character is basically doing the same thing, just without the same connections.
Right. He's making the connections himself and then deceiving and lying and framing things to make it look like he is doing things much better or much harder than anyone else is.
But the other guy also deceives and lies, but when he does it, the show frames it as like, ooh, villainous plan, haha. Or, you know, it's like, I don't know. maybe
the thing
that's
is, having
maybe that's
relatives that
intentional.
work at a place and using that to your advantage makes you a piece of shit, and you should not succeed.
Sure.
Nepotism is worse than being like out and out terrible, apparently.
True, but in all actuality, if someone in your family owns a company, you are extremely likely to gain ownership of that company through nepotism. And that's kind of just how our society works. So,
and it bothers me a little bit how accurate the show is to like succeeding up the ladder of big companies. As a person that has either both worked currently in a big company or has previously worked in a big company, this is how it does work. You kiss the ass of the right person and you get up. And I'm guilty of this. Like, I don't really judge on merit. I judge by who I like spending the time with. To be honest, like when I'm on film sets and all that, there have been people that have done wonderful jobs that I'm like, this isn't a personality fit. Goodbye.
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of societies like that, where people pretend that it's all about merit and all about how well you do a job, but in all reality, it's just about who you know and how much they like you, because they'll put you in a position that you're not great at as long as they get to hang out with you.
Which is, yeah.
I mean, look at me. I'm on a big podcast for no reason. I don't even.
I mean, as far as that gets you, I guess.
As far as that gets me, oh boy, what was I was about to say something. I forget what it was. The only thing that's kind of inaccurate about this show is that he works his way up to the top and he actually ends up becoming the chairman, which in real life would probably never happen.
Why not? I mean, weirder things have happened.
Well, I don't think you can really work your way up to a position like that. Usually chairmen come from other companies that are appointed by the board of directors.
Well, let me frame it like
maybe
this.
In the 60s it was more common that they actually work their way up and promote within for that position, but I feel like nowadays, like, no one's going to get promoted into Walmart CEO.
Let me give examples here. I just finished reading Bob Iger's book, Bob Iger, Cuck to the Top, which is what I believe is the proper title for that. What had happened was he started from the bottom-ish as far as you can as a white man that went to Harvard.
From the bottom, way at the bottom.
From the bottom of Disney, meaning it was not even Disney yet. He was just an ABC guy. And then someone died in front of him, and they were like, well, you're here, take over ABC Sports. And then Disney bought ABC, and he was just there, and they put him as the head of ABC. And then when Michael Eisner was firing everyone, he kept trying to find a replacement and then firing the replacement because he didn't like the replacement and just wanting to rule Disney forever. Bob Iger was just also there in the room. He's like, I am also here. I don't want to take your job, Michael, but I wouldn't say no to it. And then Michael is ousted, and the CEO, the board members are like, well, you're here. You want the job?
I wonder if it's not really the way he tells it, though. I wonder if he's leaving out all the ass kissing and...
Oh, I'm sure the ass kissing is there.
That he probably was actually doing.
I don't think it's the most flattering version of his own story if he is the one telling it in this rose-colored way, because literally he's cucked to the top. He's just like, well, you guys keep doing your thing. I'll be in the room watching it. It's, let me say this. It's like getting married and then your wife gets a cuckold boyfriend and they just start banging. But then they fight, and then you're the one with the name on the lease, and the house is yours.
You get the Nintendo Switch. It's great.
Exactly. You are the one that owns the house at the end of it all, after they have their little fight.
It's Aaron Burr's dream.
Exactly. He waits for it.
Well, they have a song about that in this show, which is just doing it the company way.
Exactly.
One of my favorite characters is the guy who sings that.
He's a quarter-century man.
He's literally been with the company for 25 years and has never been promoted beyond mailroom manager.
It takes him 25 years to get promoted.
25 years to get promoted out of mailroom management, which I assume does not pay very well. He's probably been with the company longer than most of the upper executives. And he's just like, yeah, I just do what the company says because I know that that's the right thing to do and it will get me places. And then this guy that's like been with the company for like a week is singing along with him and is like instantly promoted way above the other guy's position.
The thing is, you say a week, he was literally there one day before getting promoted out of the mailroom. Like, by the end of the day, he is out of the mailroom.
Yeah, no, he's out of the. I think he says it's a week. He tells the girl like,
No, because
I've been here the
he's
whole
like,
week.
no, he's like, because the end of it is when he's like, it's been a long. That's just the one day that they've been there.
It's ridiculous.
This show is redonkulous. Let's bring up sexism.
Okay, yeah, I mean, you have to talk about
It is
this.
the elephant in the room of this show. And the reason why you can't really put it on with kids right now, because it's sexist as fuck.
Well, yeah, there's just a lot of stuff about... One, all the characters that are secretaries only exist as love interests. That's basically it. They exist to be a love interest or be someone who is, like, wants to be sexually active with one of the characters. Like, that's
Or
their
to be
only
the
purposes.
ugly one. And that's the joke, that they're the ugly one.
Yeah, and on top of that, they don't seem to mind that. Like, they don't even fight back against that. They're just like, yep, that's what I am.
But then there's also out-and-out sexual assault in this show.
Yes.
Where a guy's like, nice seeing you around, grabs her on the ass, and then she smacks him, and he's like, oh, I gotta stop reading Playboy.
Yep.
And we're supposed to laugh at that.
And then there's the one guy who like has sex with the woman in his office, basically, and then he gets like sent off somewhere by the company. Like, I don't quite remember, but like that was
Moved
like
around like a Catholic priest.
that was like Finch's like plan to get rid of him. Essentially, was to like because the boss guy has like a favorite secretary who he's basically cheating on his wife with this secretary.
Yeah.
And she's like a major plot point because she kind of causes the destruction of the company in a way.
And she's also kind of funny as a character.
Yeah. Well, her entire character is that she likes to have like lots of sex.
And then she sexually assaults Finch, right? Like, she literally comes in drunk and is like, you better kiss me or I'm gonna tell everyone that you did it.
Yeah, and that sexual assault is his moment of realization that he's in love with someone else.
Yeah, like, getting kissed by that girl made him realize, I'm in love with this other girl, Rosemary.
Yeah, it's... I feel like you could make a modern version of this show and just kind of edit around all this stuff, though, but...
Let's go into that briefly. So, the most offensive song in this entire show to me is the Act 2 opener, which is the Cinderella song, Cinderella Darling.
Yep.
It is terrible, horrible, and I hate it.
I don't know, you also have the A Secretary is Not a Toy song, too. I mean...
I'm going to come to that in a little bit. But in the 1995 revival with Matthew Broderick, which by all means is the seediest, most mean-spirited, like cynical revival, but in a good way where it's making fun of the content, they replaced that song with a Secretary's version of How to Succeed as a Secretary, where they do a reprise of How to Succeed, and they like go through all the stuff that they have to do to get around these men. So it kind of gives them the power instead of being like, oh, well, they find me attractive because I'm Cinderella.
Oh, wow. Well, I find them attractive,
that's a
too.
smart...
Look at, he's such a powerful man.
Yeah, and that's the smart way to get around it. As well, for the Secretary is Not a Toy, they make it much more violent and much less tongue-in-cheek and much more, these men are fucking rapists and shame on them.
Yeah.
Like, just in the tone.
I don't know which one I watched, but the one that I watched, like, it was
You
very...
watched the Daniel Radcliffe revival, the
It
most
was
recent one where they
very-
just replicated the original 1960s production.
It was very, like, goofy, like, when they did that song, and it's like, this isn't really a goofy subject.
Nope.
Like, maybe back in the 60s it was a goofy subject, but I think we've kind of moved past that at this point.
That production is what they dubbed the 50th anniversary production, which was, let's just do the original show and not change anything, because fuck it.
You know, I can see that. I can see that being, like, a thing, but you should maybe, like,
Not do
at least
that, maybe.
acknowledge it a little bit? I don't know.
Which is why I wish that they had taken on the 95 revival, where, well, I guess we're going to have to talk about casting. So you watched the Daniel Radcliffe Harry Potter version, Andrew. How did you think he did in the lead role?
I thought he was pretty good. I mean, the lead roles, I don't think, it doesn't seem very demanding to me, this particular lead role. It was good.
I feel so much regret in my soul as a human being as I host this podcast that I did not have you watch the movie instead of watching the Broadway show.
And why is that? Is the movie usually we don't do movies because of
I
you
know. We have the occasion where I'm like, Fiddler is just about as accurate to the show as a movie can be and things like that.
Yeah.
Where here they brought back the original actor that played Finch on Broadway, and they deleted a bunch of songs and they restructured a thing or two, but really it's relatively accurate, mostly because you have the cast and it's so close to when that original show came out. But Robert Morse, he plays Finch like an absolutely insane person, like absolutely fucking nutso insane human being. He is making acting choices that know, like, Crispin Glover level of crazy. And it makes the joke land even more when he is suddenly promoted and all that stuff. Whereas...
Well, yeah, and I can see that being really funny. Whereas, like, with the version I watched, it was funny. But, like, the joke is just like, man, it's so easy, huh? Whereas, like, if he's, like, nuts and, like, taking advice from a book that is, like, doesn't make sense and it still works, that's funny. That's really funny. I don't know.
Exactly. And that's why, like, I watched the Harry Potter version, which I called because 2 Harry Potters played Finch in that run. You had Darren Criss, who played Harry Potter in a Harry Potter musical, and Daniel Radcliffe, who played Harry Potter in the Harry Potters. So it was a Harry Potter show. And they just play it like charming white guy instead of insane nebbish guy. Whereas Matthew Broderick, who you can only imagine how insane he played that role because nebbish white guy.
The thing with Matthew Broderick is I can't really see him playing the role because it's almost the same role as Music Man, where it's like this kind of con artist type, and Matthew Broderick just doesn't sell it.
The thing is, he sold it because he was a little bit more lascivious instead of charming. He played the insane person side of it.
Okay, yeah, I guess.
He played it like Bloom from the Producers.
Okay, which I think he actually did okay in that, so.
Yeah, and we'll do that episode one day, because, yeah, that musical's fun. Well, Andrew, I feel like I had a point to make, and now I done forgot it.
I think your only point was that the audience should watch the movie, I guess, because
watch the movie.
Probably readily available.
Yes. We have not brought up that this is a Patreon request because if this were not, can you guess who requested this?
Well, it wasn't Mina Maneri. I cannot. Who was it?
It was Mina Maneri.
What? She did this many requests in a row?
We had to hold her Dracula one for a couple months because Halloween. So.
Oh, okay. So that's okay.
That's
the only reason I ruled her out was not because I didn't think she would request this, but because I didn't think we'd give her 2 in a row like that.
Well, yeah, because we had to like basically put a hold on it for a month, and then we did Dracula, and then they're right next to each other. But you can't accept our explanations of the cheese. We gotta hear what the critics said. So, it's time for our favorite segment of the show. It is Breeze Views. Cue the music.
There is no music. Andrew hasn't written me anything.
I might have time coming up. We'll
Okay.
see.
Breeze Views.
Love it. Okay, so the original 1961 Broadway production opened to highly positive reviews. New York Times critic Howard Taubman wrote, "It stings mischievously and laughs uproariously. It belongs to the blue chips among modern musicals." Taubman praised the show's adult viewpoint and consistency of style, stating that Burroughs had directed brilliantly and that Losser had written lyrics with an edge and tunes with a grin. The songs sharpen the ridicule. In contrast, in their reviews of the 2011 Broadway revival, the New York Times chief theater critic Ben Brantley warned that the show's book writers failed to give Ponty any defining traits beyond all-consuming ambition, and that you don't particularly want Daniel Radcliffe's character in the show to succeed, and that really is a problem. I have a question. This isn't the one where he showed his pee-pee, is it?
No, that's Equus.
Okay, thank God.
No, this would be the weirdest musical just to whip your dick out at, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Like, where would you fit that in, Andrew?
I mean, I can think of a few places, but
Oh, it's the Brotherhood of Man.
No, I'm thinking of-
Brotherhood
there's some
of Man.
there's some very bad places you could put it, and it would ruin the show.
I
in a way.
know, but I would much rather see a bunch of naked men like kick lining with their balls out.
How come you don't make that show?
It's called The Full Monty. Patrick Wilson showed his dick. It was pretty great. But do you agree with that, Andrew?
I hate to agree, but I think I agree.
The thing is, I don't think Ben Brantley quite understands the show. I don't think you really want to see him succeed. You kind of want to see him trick a bunch of idiots. Like, it's not about his success. It is about fooling the fools, basically. It's fucking, Bugs Bunny, like, rabbit season. That is the appeal of the show.
I think that he wasn't overly harsh, though, like he usually is.
I mean, no, because at a certain point with revivals, you can't really tear them apart the way you might like to, unless they're doing something really wacky like Oklahoma.
Yeah. I think that from the sounds of it, the characters usually played a different way, and that might be a better
Yes.
way to play them. But I don't think it, like, ruined the show, but I don't think he is saying that either, so I'm not really sure. I feel like I don't, like, disagree necessarily with him. It's just maybe not, like, a hard agree.
All right. Yeah, he didn't come off as terrible, but then again, Ben Brantley, go fuck yourself. All right, are we ready to go into a mid-show?
Yes!
Let's get some advertising. Let's go, kids. Hey, sorry to interrupt you in the middle of the show, but we've got a shill at you. We got to make money somehow. We're down on patrons. We need more. Please join the club. Today's show is brought to you by the extremely kind donations by our donors over at Patreon. Andrew, what is Patreon and who is supporting us on Patreon?
Patreon is where you can go if you'd like to just give us a little bit of extra money. And also get access to a lot of content that we do as well. We just finished up our Fosse Verdon. I think we're starting up on the Muppets podcast.
The Muppets.
We're just going to cover a bunch of Muppet crap. We love it, though.
We love it. Also, we have our monthly Patreon meetups. We just had one. It had Brent and Adam Wachter. I'm sure it was a wonderful time. When we're recording this, it hasn't happened yet, but I'm certain it was a fun time had by all.
A great time was had by all. I'm pooped.
I can't even remember it again because I got that drunk, probably.
He always gets that drunk.
And celebration of the victory of
Joe Biden.
Who are our current patrons, Andrew?
Our current patrons are Melissa Goldman, Terry Needleman, John Donna, Max Lunick, Lily Ackles, Peasant Chick, Jess the Stampede, Ewan Cassidy, Tess Gear, Fire of September, Mina Maneri, Monica Thoreau. Why are those switched? I usually feel like those are... Okay. Brent
No,
Black.
it's Mina Maneri, Monica Thoreau. Are you on drugs?
No, they're the... Okay. Brent Black, Haley Murray, Alice in Wonderland, B-Way Flicks, Nathaniel Stacy Coombe, Joseph Evans Green, Carrie Ahern, Irigale Drouet Whiter, Christine Malmadel, Cole Birchfield, Mary Luce Choquette, John Vanals, Holy Sticality, Russ Walker, Musical Hell, Emily Gracie, Andrew Van Barson, Emily Stack, Teblam, Kyle Summers, Janae C., Kyle, Christina Francis, Jess A., Skylar, Liz Lim, Corey Wilmarth,
You gotta
Allison
stop
Stoller.
doing the drugs, Andrew. You're slurring your words.
I gotta sound things out a little bit here.
We might as well
Nothing-
call you Sleepy Andrew DeWolf.
Nothing is certain except Beth and taxes. Elizabeth. Thespian, not lesbian. Not
It's
that
lesbian
explicit.
with a TH.
Not that explicit. Ren Cullen. Wait in the Wings. Lady Malvolia. Spectacle Machine. Jacob Strope. Rafael Martinez Salas, J. Asterix, and Carson C.
They give us a little extra financial support that helps us keep the lights on here at Musicals with Cheese. If you'd like to join them and get tons of fun perks such as our Patreon-only commentaries, our episodes a day earlier, even earlier, come join us over at Patreon. Let's go, motherfuckers! We need more patrons right now!
Jess, have you thought about hosting like an auction? I feel like you'd be great at it.
Yeah.
$100 going once, $100 going twice. Like you'd be so
All
good.
right, $1 patrons, $2 patrons, $10. Come on. You want me, Brent Black? I know him. Andrew, I got a question for you.
Sure thing.
How do you succeed? That's the first song. How to succeed. Ah, we did it.
This book is all that I need. How to succeed. How to observe personnel. How to select whom to lunch with. How to avoid petty friends. How to begin making contacts. How to walk into a conference room with an idea, brilliant business idea that will make your expense account zoom. This book is all that I need. How to succeed.
The only thing I had trouble with this song is I couldn't figure out where he was supposed to be, and then I realized he was supposed to be a window washer. And I was like,
Yeah. But also, it's like a weird note to hit. Like, it's not a difficult song to sing, but it's a weird note to hit and sustain. Like, no matter whether you hit it correctly or incorrectly, it sounds wrong.
I don't mind the song, though. I think it's a decent opening. I'm wondering if maybe they could have just cut it so instead of him being like a window washer, it was just before he went into his job interview or whatever the fuck. I don't know.
But the window washer is an important plot point for later.
Important. It's a Deus Ex Machina at the end of the show.
Yes, but they set it up right in the first second. Like, first second
That's
you
true.
see him, he's washing windows. It's going to be very important later. And this is where I kind of want to talk about how successful this is as a show, despite being very dated in some elements. Like, this is a very effective book of a musical. And we don't very often talk about the book of a musical on this show because we're really, like, pumped on songs. But structurally, this is probably one of the most effective musicals we've ever covered.
Why do you say that?
Every single thing is setting up a joke or a plot point. Every single thing that happens in the show. Even the things you don't notice that are gonna be important. Sometimes you think it's just interstitiary lines, like, what's his name saying, I'm gonna go golfing, and it's a lie, but it comes back later as something that brings him back as well as sets up the knitting. You think the knitting is just a joke, but of course Finch is gonna use that later to try to get his way in.
Yep.
Things that just seem like they're gonna be jokes turn out to be plot points, and I think that's the best way to sneak in storytelling.
I mean, what about the coffee break song? Does that ever come back?
Nope, that's just like, man, ain't women crazy?
Everybody wants coffee.
If I can take my coffee break, my coffee break, my coffee break. If I can take my coffee break, something within me dies.
Something within me dies. If I can't make 3 daily trips where shining shrine benignly drips and taste cardboard between my lips, something within me dies. Lies down and something within me dies.
No coffee. No coffee.
No coffee.
No coffee.
No coffee, no coffee, no coffee, no coffee.
That office light doesn't have to be fluorescent. I'll get no pains in the head. That office chair doesn't have to be foam rubber. So if I spread, so I spread. But only one chemical substance gets out the lead.
Like she said, if I can take my coffee break, my coffee break, my coffee break. If I can take my coffee break, gone is the sense of enterprise.
Man, women can't function without they coffee.
I mean, I think it's somewhat implied that no one at the place can function without their
Right,
coffee.
I agree. But also, like, it's a goofy number. And apparently this was like, oh, I didn't even bring up the Fosse of it all.
What, the dancing?
Yes, but Bob Fosse was technically the choreographer, but he was credited as original staging by, because he didn't want to take a choreography job from another choreographer because he just got fired and didn't want to cause another choreographer to get fired. So he took the lowered credit, did all the dancing, except for the fucking pirate dance, which was done by the original choreographer, which is it's just awful. It's just terrible. So yeah, this is a secret Fosse show. Tell your friends. Use that fun fact when you're pulling up your musical theater trivia.
Well, they didn't put it in Fosse Verdon, though, so who cares?
They did not. I think, like, Cy Fuhrer was in it, who also was, like, a big person behind this. So there's interstitial connections. But yeah, Coffee Break was a really hard scene to do. Really dumb song.
It really doesn't have, like, a point other than just being a dance number with a bit of comedy. If you're really into the joke, wow, doesn't everyone like coffee? Ha ha ha.
I bet that was groundbreaking for 1961.
That probably was. Now it's like major boomer humor, though.
I mean, a lot of this is still major boomer humor.
Yeah, but I think the, hey, everyone like coffee, right? Yes.
See, if they did this today, would it be like, Starbucks burned down? Oh no! Where will I get my pumpkin spice lattes?
Oof, the boomer. It hurts. All right. Company Way. I like Company Way a lot.
I love Company Way. This song is really fun.
Your face is a company face.
It smiles at executives, then goes back in place.
The company furniture.
Oh, it suits me fine.
The company letterhead.
A Valentine.
Anything you're against.
Unemployment.
When they want brilliant thinking from employees.
That is no concern of mine.
Suppose a man of genius makes suggestions.
Watch that genius get suggested to resign.
So you play it the company way.
All company policy is by me okay.
You'll never rise up to the
But
top.
there's one thing clear. Whoever the company fires, I will still be here.
You certainly found a home.
It's cozy.
I think this is an extremely fun song. The message of it is hilarious, and the way that that Finch is like almost ironically singing along with it is really funny.
He's so meticulously evil. I think Finch might be one of the most evil musical theater characters.
I don't know though. His intentions are selfish. I don't know if you can call them evil though, because I don't think he's being necessarily malicious towards anyone.
No, I don't think he wants to hurt anyone. He just will crush anyone and use any chance he can to get his way. Like, he's really terrible to Rosemary. Like, I feel so bad for her.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah. I don't know why she wants to be with him is really the main question.
Because he's
there.
just so sexy, Andrew. Like,
I know.
He exudes sex appeal.
She doesn't love him. She's just written that way. But
the script says I love him, so I gotta love him.
yeah, I mean, we didn't talk about happy to keep his dinner warm, but that's like she just met him and she's already thinking about like, man, I'd be so happy just to make him happy.
I mean, I felt that way before. It was 10 long years ago when I met you, Andrew DeWolf, and I was like, man, I'd be so happy to keep his bed warm at night.
Bro, that's gay.
So what? Let it be gay.
True though.
True though. Company Way is so funny, especially like the message of it. Like, I'm sure like some company has to have taken this and used it as their actual like musicals like anthem, right? This had to have happened.
This is a person who has hook, line, and sinker just swallowed the "if you work hard, eventually you'll be on top" line, and it's almost sad. And then he's singing it along with someone who is fully aware of how the system actually works, and is just singing it along with him because he doesn't want to tell him, because if he tells him, then he'll actually have more competition.
Well, yeah, but he was originally going to use him to become the head of the mailroom, but then he uses him as a stepping stone to get even higher.
Yeah, it's almost sad and like a tragic song because of because of who is singing it, and you almost feel bad, but you can't.
25 years in the mailroom. Holy shit. Imagine doing 25 years of anything. I haven't even done 25 years of anything straightforward yet.
Well, yeah, I mean, You're barely capable of doing that. You'd have to have done something since you were born.
I'm not there yet. I'm a baba.
Like, actually, though, I know back then that's probably something you could live off of, but I think today, if you were working in a mailroom for 25 years, you would be subject to, like, complete poverty.
I don't know. It depends on when you got there. If you had a union back when it started, maybe that's a great job for you. Unions are great.
Yeah, unions are great.
It's funny that they don't even bring up healthcare or unions in this fucking musical.
Well, I mean, I don't think people liked that stuff back in the 60s, and I think if you brought up either of those things...
You just get shot on sight.
Well, McCarthyism was recent memory at the time, right?
Yeah. Hey, would you have sold out all your friends to Joseph McCartney? Joe McCartney?
I would tell Paul McCartney about all of my friends.
And their socialist leanings.
Hey guys, I just want to let you guys know that Jess has personally told me that he wants a Stalinist utopia. He wants to live under the boot of the state, 100%.
Shh! Paul McCartney might hear and lock me up. Andrew, stop!
All right, comrade.
No, Paul McCartney, no, it's not true. It's not true, Paul McCartney.
Yeah, this is him. Paul McCartney, get over here. It's him.
Let's talk about a secretary is not a toy.
A secretary is not a toy, no, my boy, not a toy. So do not go jumping for joy. Boy, a secretary is not. A secretary is not. A secretary is not a toy.
A secretary is not to be used for play therapy. Be good to the girl you and boy, remember no matter what neurotic trouble you got, a secretary is not a toy. She's a highly specialized key component of operational unity, a fine and sensitive mechanism to serve the office community. With the mother at home, she supports.
And you'll find nothing like her at FAO Schwartz.
Secretary is not a toy.
If the title of the song was more literal, then I guess I agree. But I think I don't agree.
Literally, the last lines of this song are, a secretary is not a tinker toy. Like, what the fuck does that mean? She's just got a bunch of holes?
I think
like,
that is what that means.
Is that literally what you think that means? Like, actual question.
I honestly don't know. Maybe they just needed something with that amount of syllables and kind of fit.
It's disgusting. This song is gross, and even, like, if you do it tongue-in-cheek in the way of, like, oh, men are gonna be men, they're gonna want to touch women on their rears, and it's all fine, because, you know, women aren't people.
Hey, but they all know that you're not supposed to do that, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
But we're not gonna do anything. Just don't get caught. Don't make them mad.
Oh my God.
I love having Brie here, where she's just laughing like, these two fucking idiots. I hate it. We've got our token girl here like these fucking morons.
I mean, Brie, what do you think? Do you think it's okay to just, kind of touch your secretary inappropriately at any time?
What if he's a himbo?
Is he sexy?
Oh, he's
Yeah.
sexy.
Like, is he sassy? Is he sexy?
Yeah.
It's JFK.
He's
It's
all of those
JFK.
things.
No, it's not okay.
Oh no.
Well, this show disagrees.
If you've got a himbo secretary, just grab him on the can. Don't do that. It's bad. It's sexual assault.
Don't do that. Even if it's a himbo.
Himbos have rights.
Himbos, normal secretaries, unnormal secretaries, whatever you got. It doesn't matter. Don't do it.
Stop, to quote Michael Jordan, because McDonald's has brought me here to say
Stop.
this. McDonald's has brought me here to tell you, don't do drugs. Come on, stop.
Stop.
I'm Michael Jordan, McDonald's.
All right, what's next? Can we talk about Grand Old Ivy? Because I think it's ridiculous.
Grand Old Ivy is so stupid.
It is absolutely over the top, absurd, stupid, and I love it. I kind of
Groundhog!
Really like it. Groundhog!
Stand, old ivy, stand firm and strong. Grand old ivy, hear the cheering throng. Stand, old ivy, and never yield.
Rip, rip, rip the chipmunk off the field. When you fall on the ball,
And you're down there at the bottom of the heap,
down at the bottom of the heap,
where the mud is oh so very, very deep.
down in the cruddy, muddy deep.
Don't forget, boys, that's why they call us. They call us Groundhog. Groundhog. Groundhog.
And old
Groundhog.
ivy,
Rip, rip,
firm and
rip
strong.
the chipmunk. Grand old ivy, hear the cheering throng. Groundhog.
And old ivy,
God bless
and
you, never yield. Rip,
rip, rip the chipmunk off
I like that he's like half knows the whole dance and half like can't figure it out.
Yes, exactly. Like he does not, like he just listened to it 3 times and tried to learn the best of the dance he could. And I think that's a great touch in all versions.
Yeah. I like that it's also implied that he doesn't know where he went to school. Like, did resumes not exist at this time? Or I guess maybe he never had a resume. He just never
Yeah,
even
he just
bothered.
walked in.
He just walked in. He's just like, I'm going to get a job.
Yeah, I mean,
This
I've
guy-
gotten jobs with less work, to be honest.
This is like the CEO of the company doesn't even know if this guy went to school or has no way of checking it.
Let's be fair. If you work at a big company, the CEO is not going to fucking look up your resume. Like,
No,
they,
but the
they won't-
CEO's probably also not going to do a song and dance number with you about the college that you both went to.
Why not, Andrew?
Because the CEO's probably not going to talk to you because they probably don't give a shit.
I've actually talked to every CEO of every company I've worked with.
Oh, really? I've never been able to get a hold of them.
You just gotta say you know someone, and then you walk into their office and tell them, "Hey, you went to Grand Valley State University? Me too."
I had a
Where-
guy walk into the bank that I worked for, and apparently he was like the CEO's brother or something, and I was just kind of sitting there working on something, and he walks up to me and he's like, "What, you're not going to introduce yourself?" I'm like, "What? Who are you? I don't even know who you are." I guess he just assumed that everyone
I
would
fucking
know.
hate entitled white men. God damn.
Yeah, I'm just like, okay. And then he told me that I needed to button up my shirt better, and I was like, you know what? Fuck off. Get out of here.
I once had a boss that had diarrhea so bad and then treated everyone like shit for the rest of the day because apparently it's our fault that he had diarrhea all day.
Well, you shouldn't have made him all that spicy food.
No, he just had Crohn's disease, and that made him a huge asshole sometimes.
Oh, that sucks.
It does, but also treat your employees nice.
Yeah. Or better yet, start a socialist revolution and no longer have employees.
Yes, I agree. Let's talk very, 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 very briefly about Paris Original, because this is in a show full of dumb songs. This is maybe gonna take the cake.
He will see me, and suddenly he'll go dreamy, and blame it all on his own masculine whim, never knowing that this irresistible Paris Original, so temptingly tight, I'm wearing tonight, especially for him, this irresistible Paris Original I'm wearing tonight. She's wearing tonight, and I could spit. Some irresponsible dress manufacturer just didn't play fair. I'm one of a pair, and I could. Oh.
what do you got here?
I like the premise of it. Like, this girl, like, the girl is convinced that she has a Paris original dress that no one else can find because, it's an original dress. And then she goes there and slowly everyone comes in with the same dress. And then you find out it's not the most original dress in the world. It's a fun premise for a show about girls in fashion. But for this show about secretary, like, fighting, it's so stupid and I hate it.
Maybe the point is it's a musical and they know that there's probably a lot of women in the audience as well. And they're like, shoot, all we've done is songs about how it's okay to sexually assault your secretary. Maybe we should do one for the ladies. And they're like, yeah, let's just write a song about a dress.
That is the same methodology George Lucas went into for Star Wars Episode 2 Attack of the Clones, when he's like, girls don't like Star Wars, so I'm going to put her in as many pretty dresses as I can to try to get the girls into the theater.
Get the girls in the theater with the dress.
That's literally his plan, and that's the reason why she's dressed like a fucking dominatrix by the fire.
You hook them in with the sexual assault, and then you keep them there with the dress.
There was a mandate that every scene she was in, she had to have a different outfit on.
Of course. I'm honestly shocked that they didn't have her change outfits between, like, cuts. Knowing George Lucas.
That would be the funniest. No, he added it in for the special edition of Star Wars Episode 2 Attack of the Clones.
Literally in the same scene, every time it cuts away and back to her, she's in a different outfit.
Exactly. This is my true vision of
this is
the
how
saga.
I truly meant Star Wars to be.
She had like just a plain dress here, and now she's got a real extravagant one for each shot.
I'm just thinking of the Red Letter Media when they're having him review salads.
All right, let's talk about I Believe in You, where Finch is singing to himself in a mirror.
Now there you are. Yes, there's that face. That face that somehow I trust. It may embarrass you to hear me say it, but say it I must. Say it I must. You have the cool, clear eyes of a seeker of wisdom and truth. Yet there's that upturned chin and that grin of impetuous youth. Oh, I believe in you. I believe in you. I hear the...
God damn, is this not like the perfect descriptor of this show?
Literally, it's like a man who does not have any right to be as confident as he is, telling himself, be confident, you deserve this.
Yep, and you know what? By golly, he does.
And he'll become president one day.
Yep, he'll become president because all he does is... we literally don't see him do any actual work the entire show.
No, he doesn't know what his job is. He doesn't even know what the company does.
Literally, I think that's honestly an intentional joke. Like that, like the Worldwide Wicket Company, what do they do? And our surrogate character is Finch. And we don't know what the company does because he doesn't know what the company does.
Nor does it matter to do the work that he does, apparently.
Yeah. Well, if the work that he does is none, it doesn't matter.
Well, he does work, and his work is stealing another person's idea and then doing a treasure hunt on TV.
Do you remember the episode of Seinfeld where Kramer just kind of shows up at an office in a suit and and like just starts working there?
I love that joke, but a friend of mine actually like got a check from someone from a job he used to work at by just like saying, "Hey, you forgot my check."
Really?
He did not work there anymore.
That's great. That's more like a like Office Space where like they fire the guy and like they're just gonna stop paying him, but they're not gonna tell him he's fired.
Oh my god. But I believe in you. This is like the white man mantra, like, I'm great because I say I'm great, and you know what? I'm gonna do good things.
It's great. Let's talk about the last one.
All
Brotherhood
right,
of Man.
Brotherhood of Man. This is the best song in the show. Like, it's easily the catchiest one. It's the one that you leave humming, and it's rare that you end a musical with like a really cool original song.
Now you may join the Elks, my friend, and I may join the Shriners, and other men may carry cards as members of the diners. Still others wear a golden key or small Greek letter pin. But I have learned there's one great club that all of us are in. There is a brotherhood of man, a benevolent brotherhood of man, a noble tie that binds all human hearts and minds into one brotherhood of man. Your lifelong membership is free. Keep giving each brother all you can. Oh, aren't you proud to be in that fraternity, the great big brotherhood of man? So, Wally, before you consider firing everybody, remember this. One man may seem incompetent, another not make sense, while others look like quite a waste of company expense. They need a brother's leadership, so please don't do them in. Remember, mediocrity is not a mortal sin. We're in the
brotherhood of man, dedicated to giving all we can.
Oh, aren't you proud to be in that fraternity, the great big brotherhood of man?
I don't quite get it though.
No one does. It is a love letter to the patriarchy. That is the song. Like, we
Is it
are
though?
all men.
I almost feel like it's meant to be like a, hey, we're all in this together. You know, like it's a brotherhood. It's like you almost want it like it's a Soviet Russia rises up and sings this song.
He's the brotherhood of men.
Yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't seem to fit the theme of the show, but it's
No,
fine.
it does not. But for a show that, like, there are females involved in the storytelling, the secretaries not being a toy and all that, specifically being about brothers and men being the overarching, like, resolution is kind of a sickening thought.
Yeah, I mean, it depends how you look at it, though, because I think you could also say Brotherhood of Men is like a generic term that we use to describe like humankind being together, in something.
I mean, for musicals, you choose your words very specifically for things like this. They mean it for men.
if you write this song with this melody and you want this message, what else could you fit in here?
It's the company of men, or a song about company men. They did that, but like do it reprised.
Yeah, but they already do the reprise right after this song.
Yeah, I know. I like the song. I don't like the message. I don't think I may not be completely understanding the message, but the message I'm gathering, I don't like.
I don't think there is a message. I just think it's a fun song and everyone will leave with it. And then they can do NBC's Brotherhood of Men, where it's a Super Bowl commercial.
So many rapists in that commercial.
See if you can spot them all. Check it.
Hey, yeah, you gotta bring by your rapist bingo board when you watch the Brotherhood of Men NBC Super Bowl commercial. Like, how many rapists can you find? Speaking of rapists, Andrew, what'd you think of the show? And your cheese rating?
I actually really like this show. I know that there's definitely some problematic stuff in it, and I don't know. It's an older show, and I can forgive it. Maybe not everyone in our audience can forgive it, but me personally, I'm able to look past it because the show is pretty fun, and I like the dancing, and I like the songs, and it's got some good jokes. It's got some cringe jokes, but it's got some good ones as well, so I'm gonna say it's decent enough to watch. Oh boy, I want to give it like some sort of like mass-produced cheese, like I don't know, something company related, but I'm not really sure what that would be. I guess like a Kraft singles. I know I've given other shows singles before, but I'm gonna do it for this one too, just because It's a company show. It's about corporations. You know, what are you gonna do?
All right, Bree, what'd you think of our discussion and your cheese rating of what we had to say?
You know, I think you guys had a really successful chat.
Let's see
It's
what you
the
did there.
Brotherhood of
Jess.
So, I'm going to give you the most successful cheese in America.
Oh boy.
It is the cheese that Americans eat 11.5 pounds of each year.
I'm really skewing those results, I'm sure, though.
Mozzarella.
Mozzarella.
Because you guys are a success.
Well, I guess that leaves me. This show is fun. I recommend watching the movie. It is not aged well. You are going to find problematic shit. I don't think you can really revive it and bring it back without really retooling this, because the show has some really iffy things that it tries to say, and I don't like it.
Harkens back a little
however-
bit to like Carousel, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, like Carousel is a beautiful musical, and I love a lot of it, but it is super problematic. This is an effective, well-told, well-structured musical that is super problematic. They are in the same category, yet wholly different shows for very different reasons.
I think I would recommend this more than Carousel because I think this is aged a little bit better. Just a little bit better. And
But Andrew,
the jokes are funnier than Carousel is.
Carousel doesn't have jokes.
Yeah, I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like, this is a funny show, and I laughed a bit, whereas Carousel is just kind of like you're spending the entire time thinking about, like, ooh, really? Ooh, really?
I just watched Carousel a couple days ago, and my God, that the score to that is just so gorgeous that you ignore being beaten by an angel.
I guess. I don't know. There's a lot of musicals with beautiful scores, though. There's not like a million musicals that have some pretty funny, like, corporate structure humor, though. I'm
You know,
sure there
that's
are some
fair.
other ones.
But my cheese rating is 8 6-ounce blocks of Wisconsin cheese, Fratello Dill Havarti, smoked Gouda, El Diablo Scorpion Pepper Gouda, 3 Amigos Spicy Gouda, Mango Habanero Gouda, smoked mozzarella, and when you put them all together, you have the Brotherhood Pack from cheesebros.com.
Of course.
'Cause they're the Brotherhood of Cheese. The Brotherhood of Cheese. Whoa! You're missing out on these fucking dance moves since you're not on Patreon. Whoa, yeah, the Brotherhood of Cheese. But thank you guys for listening. We love you all so much. Please follow us on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, @Musicals with Cheese. Our Twitter is Cheesy Musicals. Our Patreon is Musicals with Cheese. Our Instagram is Musicals with Cheese. Our YouTube page is Musicals with Cheese. On Patreon, we have a Patreon-only podcast. We just finished up Fosse Verdon. We're starting on the Muppets. It's going to be a lot of fun. We have guests lined up. We have, like, some cool people that are going to join us, so you're really missing out.
Also, you can still watch the Fosse Verdon ones. Those are all still there, so.
Yeah, they don't disappear. They don't disappear. We have brand new transcriptions for our podcast for those hard of hearing or people that just want to read a podcast instead of listening to it, which I get.
If you really like our prose.
Yes, if you think that we are the most well-spoken individuals that you're like, we need to see that written on paper.
Which we are, so you do.
Our transcriptions are done by Masha Litvanova, who is wonderful and one of our partners, and we're so lucky to have her involved. Like, she's doing this out of the kindness of her heart, and she does a great job. So, yeah, check out our transcripts. They should be in the bio, and go send her some attention. Our title card was created by the amazing Jolene Casco. Go send her some love at Jolene Casco. This show is produced by the amazing, the incredible, the beautiful, the sweet, the wonderific Brianna Jones. Yeah! We love you, Brie. Thank you so much for doing this.
Merch.
Yes, I'll bring up the merch. Fuck off.
We got
Come
merch,
on.
baby.
We got merch. We got brand new merch up. We should have some new designs up there, some cool ones. Come on,
Christmas is coming.
Christmas is
Everyone
coming, and
wants merch.
we know what you want. You'll find that in the bio, or you can go to musicalswithcheese.com and click the merch button. Thank you to the Broadway Podcast Network for having us on their platform, and it's really, really a lot of fun. I'm surprised you haven't kicked us off with all the cheese talk we've had. Man,
A little too cheesy. We've gotten a little cheesy. Some of the people in the network are lactose intolerant. I'm surprised they allow us in here. But...
yeah, they're gonna kick us out soon, Andrew. All right, anything else you gotta say, Andrew, before we wrap this on up?
It's the Brotherhood of Man.
Oh, the Brotherhood of Man.
Of
What
Man.
yo? Oh, the Brotherhood.
The Brotherhood.
It's the Brotherhood.
Oh, the Brotherhood.
The Brotherhood of Man.
It's the Brotherhood.
And one woman.
Yeah. We'll see you next time on Musicals with Cheese. Maybe a secretary is a toy. I've never thought about it like that.
I'm gonna say no to that one, Jess.